everyone. Today I'm teaching the lesson, but instead of getting in our pajamas, we're going to do a little bit of no-gi today.
No-gi's where the fun's at.
That's true. You got anything?
Oh, yeah, of course I got something, man. If you're watching on YouTube, which you better be, because that's all we're on, make sure you subscribe to the page. Down in the lower right-hand corner is a little thing that says subscribe. Click on that right now. When it comes up, subscribe to the page. Click on the bell so you get notifications. And then whenever one of these pops up, you watch it. And if you don't watch it, just watch it for 2 seconds. Click the like and then shut it off so we get a view.
Pretty good.
Good show. All right, let's get to it. What are you going to show today?
Today we're going to be showing Treetop into side control into an armbar.
Ooh, I like it. All right, let's set the camera up so we can get it in, and let's go.
Alright, so we're back. We didn't really go anywhere. We just cut it to make it a little bit easier to edit. So the Treetop is a single leg takedown that involves getting your partner off balance and taking him down to the floor. But for this technique, I'm gonna have to take off my glasses, so I'll be right back. So for this technique, you're probably gonna want to be lower than your opponent so you don't headbutt them and get disqualified.
Nothing wrong with DQ. DQ is better than a loss.
So for the Treetop, we're going to start off and bump them with our head. Just like with Smell the Fear, we don't want to hit our partner with our nose, but I'm not going to show that.
Not with that little soft thing, no way.
Because I like my nose. But we want to hit with our forehead. And all this is doing is it's shifting his weight to make his leg easier to pick up. So I'm going to bump and pick up his leg. Now, for most jiu-jitsu takedowns, we're going to grab the leg like this. But if your partner's a little more athletic, they're probably going to end up, or your opponent's a little more athletic, you're going to end up in a scramble. But for now, we'll just keep it like this, just for the drill's sake. So
turn around so the camera can see. His head's on the inside, like it should be.
You always want your head on the inside.
His head's on the outside. Choke Forrest to death.
Yeah. So when I got his leg, I want to have my head in the inside, and I'm going to do a bump with my shoulder to make his leg easier to pick up.
Forrest is just hopping me back so we don't break the wall here.
Yeah, and that, what that bump does is it puts him off balance, so his leg is easier to pick up. And now he's pretty much going to go down if he's inflexible.
Like I am.
If you can't just take him like that, then you can also put your foot right here, and that'll send him back. But I'm going to turn so I don't send you into the bricks. So you can put
I'm not very flexible.
you can put your foot back here, take him down, and you're gonna fall. You're probably gonna fall here.
Are we in camera or no?
We'll back up just in case.
We're not in camera. Dude, I got the whole thing here.
We're a little out of frame, so we're so basically what's gonna happen is you should have your hand around his waist. So if you get up for a minute, probably gonna end up here, where my arm is gonna be in between his legs, and my hand's gonna be here.
Now, me as a bottom person, I'm not going to be content to be stuck here. Because if I am, Forrest is just going to bring this knee right here, and he's going to split it in my leg. No, bring it inside. He's going to get, no, your knee inside. Feel on the outside. He's going to smash me down right here. This is a really, really bad position in jiu-jitsu. I don't want to let him get to here. So as soon as we land in this position with his arm inside, I'm going to post here, and I'm going to shrimp. And Forrest is going to follow and get right into side control. Alright? One more time that exchange.
Alright, so we're going to be down here. You're going to probably have your hand around his waist. You're going to have his hand around, you're going to have your hand around his waist. And that is just so you can control him easier. And that's going to make coming down a lot easier because you're going to be in this position, which we're going from. So that's a pretty good position to land in.
And now when Forrest gets a takedown, I'm going to take both my hands, put it on his shoulder so I make a little space, shrimp my hips up. Forrest is going to...
And now, as the top guy, you can fall in side control.
Ah, yeah.
You don't have to be that mean about it, but...
You can be that mean about it.
Alright, so we're gonna show the takedown and then get into the position again before we get into the armbar, just to make sure you guys got it all the way. So if we start again, again we're gonna be in our stance. We're gonna bump him with our head, bring his leg up. Our head should always be inside on a single leg, And when we're here, we're gonna bump him with our shoulder. That makes his.
Sorry, do that again. I messed up. I put my foot right to the outside. I did the counter. I'm making sure my foot goes the outside so Forrest can't clean it across. I did it so instinctively. I didn't mean to do that. I was a jerk as a partner. I apologize, Forrest.
That's fine. So, one more time, we're just gonna bump with the head, pick up the leg. Our head should always be inside. We're gonna bump with the shoulder, bring up his leg. And now, we're gonna put this hand right here on his waist. And this is gonna help control him. So, if I don't have this and I just take him down, he's gonna go real far away. And I don't want that. Yeah, I don't really have control of him. So when we're here, I want to have this arm around the waist to make sure he doesn't get away from me. So we have him up, arm around the waist. So if you need a little assistance getting him down, then you're gonna take your rear foot and you're gonna match it up to his foot that's posted. So you know,
right on my heel.
He doesn't fall down. And this will make it easier to take him over, and then I can fall back down. So just come over here, start on the ground, start on the ground. So now we're just gonna be here. He's gonna do his defense, and that's gonna let me fall into side control. If I need to, I can like swim, or I can just push him over.
If you can push him over, this is ideal. Now you're on my back.
Yeah.
I would not let this happen.
So if we get back in the frame maybe a little bit. So right here he defends. So you can either swim, like I was saying, or you can hand fight. I'm just saying again, for the sake of being in frame a little bit more. But if I can push him over,
if you can push me over, he's got my back.
Yeah.
Now he's going to choke me. He's going to go right to triple threat. Control my arm.
Take me back. So you can see what they do. I thought they did a spit. Good.
I didn't know you were waiting for me to do the spiel. But yeah, it's really bad for me to turn my back there. Because Forrest is controlling me. I want to make sure I'm always facing my opponent. I want to be here. My hips are not, I'm not giving him this step where he can control my hips. I want my hips away from my opponent. So I'm here and I'm pushing away.
alright, so now, I'm going to probably end up swimming here and get into side control.
Alright, we're going to readjust the camera and we're going to shoot right from here, right from side control.
Alright, so now that we have our opponent down and we're in side control, we gotta attack them. Now, when you attack, you might not always get the submission, but you can't just fall down in side control and do nothing. Today is Jiu-Jitsu. It's not like wrestling where if I'm here I won. So we're gonna try and win the match because it's not. Yeah, we're gonna try and win the match. So we're gonna do the far side armbar, the spinning.
Spinning far side armbar.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
The spinning far side armbar. So when I armbar, I'm actually gonna be on this side. So what we're gonna start out with is we're gonna pull him up here. This is gonna give me the space to eventually spin around. Now I'm gonna step up my foot and put it in his stomach so he can't turn into me. And I'm also gonna frame on his face. And now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin. I'm gonna take the step, come all the way around, put my shin in his back to make sure he can't turn back again. So now he can't turn back. Just gonna sit and take the armbar. Alright. This is the same thing we did it in. It's just your head was that way and now it's this way.
Oh. Well, you should switch sides now.
Alright. Oh yeah. Okay. So we're shooting from another angle now. You're not gonna be able to see my face until I spin.
Just his butt.
But well, now we're gonna get demonetized. But well, we would, but we're not at 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe. All right. So we're here. We're gonna use this underhook to pull up his shoulder, step up so he can't turn in. We're gonna frame on his face so it's hard for him to fight me.
Look what else it does. Come back a half a step. when Forrest frames on my face, my hands are locked, it's going to split my hands a lot of the time. Especially if he drops his elbow right here and turns my head down to the mat. He's not trying to grind me with the elbow, he's trying to make me look away from where he's going.
So it's actually better for me to use my whole forearm so I can push his whole face down. If I'm just here, it's just going to hurt a lot, but he can still get by it. So I want to use my forearm, not my elbow. Now, we're just going to stand up, take the step. You can do it in 2 steps if you're less athletic. If you're super athletic, you can probably do it in 1 step. Put my shin in his back, though, to make sure he doesn't turn. And then I'm just going to sit, and I'm going to take the armbar. Make sure you're biting with this. Your shin is here. Make sure his thumb is up. And that's a pretty good armbar. So now we've gone over the armbar, but that's a pretty simple way of doing it. It might not always work. This is usually we teach at an introductory level, maybe get into an intermediate level. Maybe get into an intermediate level in some of these videos. But right now I'm going to teach you a more probably intermediate.
Gray belt level.
Yeah, more of an intermediate version of this. It's a couple details, change the sequence up a little bit, and it's a lot more likely to work. So this time we're going to be in the same position, start with the same thing, pulling the shoulder up, but this time instead of stepping up, we're going to do our cross face. This prevents him from, so if I step up first and I don't have this, it prevents him from doing exactly this, hiding his head underneath my leg and then maybe getting in on a shot. So, alright, so with this armbar, with this version, we're going to start the same way, we're in the same position. We're going to start by bringing up the arm. But this time we're going to put our post first. In most cases, this is kind of a nice way to do it. I usually don't like being real mean. I think, I don't know, I don't like it.
Dad likes being mean.
I don't really like it being done to me, so I don't really do it to other people, especially in practice. But for this technique, this is the one that's going to work. So we're going to push on his jaw and kind of push his face, or push his head into the mat, not his face. Yeah. This is probably going to put a lot of strain in his neck. It's going to be uncomfortable for him. And if you're really mean and you have a big hand and they have a small face, you can probably get some of your palm over their mouth, which is going to make their breathing harder if you're in a tournament. Now I'm going to step up.
What does this prevent?
Oh yeah. If I step up first and I don't have this, he's going to hide his head in that hole and he can get in on a single leg shot. Or invert me into some crazy, wacky professor instructor stuff. So that's why we don't want to do this first, because now that I brought him up here, I put myself in a dangerous spot. So instead, coming back down, we're gonna bring him up, and we're gonna post. We're gonna do the real meat thing. If you have big hands, again, you can probably limit their breathing a bit. Now I'm also here so he can't turn in. This time though, when I come in, I don't want to come in straight. Last time I came in straight like this, and that's okay. It stops your opponent from turning into you, but it's going to make it a bit harder to do the spin. So this time we're going to come in on an angle, which will open up my knee, make it easier to spin.
Can you see? Back up just a little bit.
Alright, so now I'm pushing on his face, and I'm going to take my step. This is pretty similar. I'm just going to put my shin in his back to prevent him from turning back into me. And come down, bite with this leg, take the arm back, make sure the thumb's up, and make him tap. That's pretty much it. Treetop is one of my favorite takedowns. I really like getting people with it. You know, most of the time your opponent is not going to be flexible enough to have their leg all the way up. Some will, but then you just trip them or be real mean and, you know, toss them into the ground. But either way, this is a pretty good move. It'll have you end up in a pretty good spot where you can attack with armbar. You can try and get mount and attack from there. There's a multitude of things you can do from the position you're gonna end up in.
Right. I think you did a really good job teaching it. That step takes a little bit of work, forced a little bit out of practice, but it's really imperative that we get a good step there. So you should drill this one over and over again before you try and use it. Probably like 50 or 100 times before you really try and do any competition. The point that Forrest made about turning the foot is huge. If you got really tight hips and your foot is straight, it's really hard to make that that step around, especially if you're my age. I have to open up my foot so my foot's all the way open, and then it's really easy for me to step around. I'm just pivoting on my, I don't have to put any strain on my hips. I can just pivot and step around. It makes it way easier to come down. And then one little detail I'd like to show with this armbar. Forrest, can you lay down, please? So I have one shin in and one leg over. So turn so your head's right here. On your back.
Oh.
So I did the whole armbar, right? I'm in this spot here. My shin's across, and I'm here. When I take this arm back, I want to squeeze my knees together. All right. So if my knees are wide, look, there's a lot of space. When I bring my knees together, watch Forrest's arm. The pressure on his arm is magnified, right?
Yep.
So remember, anytime we're doing a straight armbar from top position, we want to make sure we squeeze our knees as tight as we can, okay? That's going to create a lot more pressure. Besides for that, I think Forrest did a pretty excellent job doing the lesson.
Also, this is our first no-gi lesson. If you just started watching these videos when we first started making them, we never really mentioned no-gi in a video yet. No-gi is just jiu-jitsu without a gi. You can't grab, because one, it's hard to grab clothing, and two, you're not allowed to do it in no-gi. Some people prefer no-gi because they don't, their reasoning could be anything from they don't really like the grips, to the gi is uncomfortable, or to just wanting a little bit of a more active match. Either way, this is our first no-gi video. Also, if you're still here, you probably really enjoy the content or really hate the content. But either way, if you hit the notification bell, that'll allow you to either like the video or leave a mean comment. So,
Please leave mean comments too.
yeah, it helps. Honestly, it probably helps out just as much as the nice comments.
Probably more. Nobody subscribed yesterday.
Yeah. Subscribe and we will shout out the latest subscriber. So, you know, if you subscribe, there's always going to be a chance that we'll mention you in the next video.
Whoever subscribes last, we always mention.
Right. So if you really wanna do it, then I guess you could do some math or whatever and try and be the last one to subscribe that day.
Just be the only subscriber that day. Most of the time that works. All right, we're out. Oops.
That wasn't bad.
No, you should probably say we're out though.
Oh. We're out. We're out, guys. That's all.
Thank you, Coach.